Hi, everybody. This is Carrie O'Donnell, and this is the Midnight Brew. And we are going to look at political and current event questions today. If you would like to put your questions in the chat, I think thank you, Nat, for all you do. She's already told everyone to put all caps if you can so that I can really star those questions as quick as I can. Thank you again, Nat, and hello. So let's see, we have so many people in the chat now. Let me just take a look. Hi to Butterflies Are Free, and Nat, and Anne, and Debbie, and Ron, and Rainey, and Stephanie. Thank you for coming, and I'm looking forward to your questions. So just to kind of give you a little update on the days. I know some people have been asking about Molly. A few people have been like, hey, give me some Molly content. So we've had some rough Molly days, not going to lie. Anyone who's raised a puppy knows sometimes it can be a lot. I think at the beginning of the week, our sleep patterns were off. She decided to wake up at 3:30 in the morning for like 2 days in a row. It was rough, but we're recovering. We're back on track. And I just wanted to share a little video of today, like literally before the show, we were watching a Hallmark movie. And this is Molly today. She's growing like so much.
Activities of the church?
No. Thank you. I'm just an old man and I'm stuck in the ways.
Fair enough. But if you change your mind, you know where to find us. You're all done. Good to go.
Thanks, Joe. I'll pay up.
All right. You too.
So you can see she was really concerned with that film, especially when she heard the baby on the screen. No, she really is. She's adorable, very active, super, super cute. And hopefully we survive the puppy period. So send me the good vibes. But sometimes we just need the happy puppy video clip. Before we get into the heavy stuff, and I just noticed that a few people had already started posting maybe some personal questions. I think I saw a couple personal questions. I will say that I'm only taking political and current event questions today. So let me just go through and star a few that came in. And I'm getting definitely some themes. We definitely want to look at Susie and the Vanity Fair thing, getting a lot of questions about Jack. And thank you, Evening Star. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate me. And yeah, I hope 2026 is better for all of us, honestly. I am going to be so happy. Besides 2020, I am going to be so happy that 2025 is done. I don't know about the rest of you, but it was a rough one. So we got a lot of Jack Smith questions. Yeah, just political and current events today. And, oh, there's a couple good ones here. Oh, hello. Oh, for some reason my picture is black. Really? That's weird. Okay. Hi, Nanette. Welcome. All right, so let's just start. I start a few, and as people come in, hopefully we'll get some more questions, but I got a lot from the post as well, and I figured we'd just dive right in, get right into it. So why don't we start with this one? Someone asked, will Los Angeles experience a major earthquake in December, January, or February? So let's take a look. Los Angeles, major earthquake. And by major, I'm going to I'm thinking for California, it would definitely be a 5 or above to be considered major, depending on if it's like a surface earthquake or something deeper. So let's take a look. Major for Los Angeles. Okay. I'm going to say maybe yes. First, I get the Three of Swords reverse, which is good news. Underneath the situation, usually when I get this, it's like healing a rift, so to speak. So maybe this earthquake is an adjustment of some sort. And look what I got in one of my timing sectors in the present position is the Tower. That makes me feel like there is some sort of major earthquake that's coming up. Since this is usually a Tower card is a weekday for me in timing, and it's also in the present. So it's one of my timing cards. It feels like it's imminent. So it would be more like possibly the end of December, beginning of January. Then I get the Hangman card reversed. So to me, that's a bit of a recovery, really, if I'm talking about earth changes. And then I get another healing card, which is the Ten of Swords reversed. This is also one of my timing cards in the 4-card spread. It's 10 weeks or 10 days. So these two cards here are indicating that it would be more December, beginning of January, say. And since there's a lot of healing and recovery after, I think it's major but not catastrophic. Does that make sense? So it's nothing that people can't handle. But yeah, I am getting a positive response to that. All right, let's take a look at some of the questions I starred. Oh, I just wanted to say thank you, Ron. That's so nice. So nice. Did I get one of your questions? I can't remember if I got one of your questions, but if I see you again, you want a question, I'll definitely put you back up there. So let's see. We're getting a lot of Jack Smith questions to start. So I get, when will Jack's info sneak out to us? And then I'm also getting, what do you see with Jack Smith's testimony? So let's start with the when, and then I'll look at the testimony themselves. So when will Jack's info sneak out to us? This is a tough one. This is a tough one because you got the White House here, because that's my White House card. And this is often my Jack Smith card too, my Knight of Pentacles. It's in reverse, but it's also, that's a card with the info isn't moving, right? It's stuck, or the White House is causing it to be stuck. And then I am getting the King of Wands reverse, which is one of my authoritarian cards. So there seems to be orders from the White House to make sure that some of this information isn't leaked out by our leadership. And then I have the Devil card in the outcome card as the outcome. So I'm not really getting it, a lot of it sneaking out to us. I think I'm getting like bits and pieces. The Knight is considering like it's slow. It's very, very slow. So I'm not getting exact timing here, but it's slow time. So we're going to get bits and pieces. So that's what I'm getting first. So let's take a look at the testimony. What do we see with Jack Smith's testimony? And I have to say, like, when I was making fun of like the shuffling thing, people were like, I like the shuffling. Thanks for having my back. So we're going to shuffle away. All right, Jack Smith's testimony. All right, it's starting with the Chariot. So to me, this is real aggressive energy. It's a fighting energy. We're moving to victory. All of that. He's moving this forward. Here's a Knight of Swords. To me, that's like I'm going to battle. These two cards together, I'm going to battle with this testimony. He doesn't have any F's to give. Like, he's moving. The Three of Wands is reversed. I'm getting that it's showing foreign ties, because this is always my card for foreign ties, but it's showing that someone had ulterior motives with something. So this feels like a follow the money kind of situation that we're getting testimony on. And then I'm getting the past card, the Six of Cups, nostalgia from the past. That's interesting. What do we see? I know this is strange, but there's something about this testimony that's coming forward that's full of truth and fighting for democracy and the American spirit and what's right. Because I do believe he's following what happened in the election. It touches people. The people who are hearing his testimony, it's touching them a bit concerning who we were in the past, the good parts of us, the nostalgia of that. So this is very strong testimony is what I'm getting. Very strong. But we're only going to get it in bits and pieces, unfortunately. So that's what I'm getting here. I'm sorry. So let me just go back to the chat. I'm going to just start a few more questions that came in. I love this. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Yep. Definitely. Hello. Hi, Joy. Let's see if some more came in. What happened to Lisa? I'm like going backwards. I need a happy puppy clip. My 9-year-old Lexi Rose passed away this morning. I am so sorry. We're in shock. Ugly cry all day. I totally get it. I've been there recently. And I have to say, too, besides Lisa, I've been getting, I have to thank everyone too for when I did my post with Leo and people shared their stories of their animals who have passed. And I think today someone recently had lost a kitty, I believe. And let's just send healing vibes to everyone who is going through that with their animals. And again, I'm so sorry. Yeah, sometimes we do need just that reminder of how much they meant to us. All right, let's see if I can. Moving to San Diego, the end of February. Lucky you, Jenny. Congratulations for that. I hope that's a good thing. Again, I'm going backwards. I'm going backwards with the conversations here. Yeah, there has been a lot of activity with the Ring of Fire. So I guess that makes sense that we're going to get a little rattling or a little adjustment in the LA area. All right, so we have a question about Bondi. Okay, hanging in there to the midterms. We'll take a look at that, hopefully. All right. Not really. What is USMCA? USMCA? And what's the outcome? I just started, but if you could give me some more information on that, because I have no idea. Acronyms just throw me sometimes. Well, that's an interesting one. You know what? This just hit me. Like I need to read on this one. Tulsi Gabbard. Oh, the U.S.-Mexico Canada trading. Okay, thank you, Stephanie. So I definitely will look at that. All right, so Tulsi, she is a little MIA, although I just saw some sort of post on Blue Sky where they were basically showing an old post of something she said and making fun of it and saying, oh, this hasn't aged well. And I thought that was interesting that they were kind of bringing her up. So I didn't know if she made the news, but she is a little bit MIA. Let's take a look at Tulsi. What's up with Tulsi Gabbard? Tulsi. All right. I'm getting big money underneath her. Okay. Underneath the situation with her, why she's MIA. There's big money who they're either trying to keep her quiet or she's accepted money in some way, but there's definitely a money influence. I do have the 10 of Wands reversed. She's releasing burdens. You got this money underneath. So I'm feeling a sense that she either wants to talk or she wants to. It's almost like I want to flee and then kind of just start over and just talk and start over. There's some sense that she wants to do a redo in some way, but she's bought and paid for. That's what this feels like here. So she is burdened with that. There is going to be some sort of message from her coming up. Excuse me, I'm going to get some water. So I think we're going to hear from her. I think we are going to hear from her. The timing card is about 10 weeks. All right, so maybe as we move into the winter period, and it has something to do with money being unearthed. The coins are being unearthed. So I'm thinking that this is some sort of connection with money. Another side note, this card can also be an immigration card for me. So I don't know what her connection was with immigration laws and some of the stuff that went down with ICE and so forth. But sometimes this can be influencing the immigration policies as well. Either way, we're going to hear from her based on her financial connections or ways in which she may have been connected financially or financially benefited. So I think she's laying low because of possible investigations, or she just doesn't want to be in the spotlight right now. So yeah, we're going to hear from Tulsi, but it's not going to be good for Tulsi. All right, so let me go back to some of the other ones. I know that there are a lot of Susie questions. So let's take a look at some Susie questions. Let's start with this one. Why did Susie Wiles give the interview to Vanity Fair? Why did she do it? And then kind of act like, who, me? I said those things? It was so ridiculous. All right. So why did you do it, Susie? Why'd you do it? It starts with the Queen of Cups reversed. So this is a woman who is upset or emotionally upset. So I don't know if this is her or someone else. I'll see if I can put this all together. I have the Hermit. So she's reflecting a lot on this. Maybe there's a lot that's made her very upset. Could be just how women are treated as well. King of Swords. I am getting a real masculine vibe here. Just kind of all right, I'm worried about the law, first of all. I'm worried about the law, the things that are coming down. And it just feels like she's feeling forced by men. This is weird because I just get her really reflecting on how women are treated, how she's treated. There's a lot of emotion underneath this and how men are just forcing their way through. But there is a law aspect. She's very concerned about the law. She's trying to balance. Why did she do it? She's trying to find a middle ground here. She's Is there a way I can throw Vanity Fair a bone, kind of show that, or kind of plant the seeds that I'm not really part of this, and yet I am part of this? There's some sort of balancing act that she's doing. So she's preparing. She's preparing for the end. There's that law aspect. And two, there's like a female male thing here, kind of like these men are all idiots. If you notice too, like in the Vanity Fair, she pointed out, like, especially with the men, like all the, like a little thing about them that was ridiculous. So there is like a little like, I just want to let you have it, so to speak. Like you're not all that. I'm better than you. That's what she wants to say, but she doesn't feel respected. So let's take a look here. Susie Wilde's Vanity Fair interview totally threw DJT under the bus. Is the orange one's heart broken? Does he have a heart? Isn't he like the Grinch, where the heart is smaller and you have to see it with the magnifying glass? All right, so she's been a loyalist for over a decade. We think. So let's take a look. Is 45's heart broken? Does he have a heart to even break? Yeah, I'm partly joking about that. He doesn't have a heart to break, and I'm partly not. Like, he has no ability to feel what we would consider a broken heart. I get the justice card here. So again, I'm getting this law thing as far as the law, and then the burdens. She has burdens concerning the law and justice. Here is some money. So 45 just wants to kind of push things underground, so to speak. And he might be throwing some money at the problem and maybe even Susie. All right. So he's feeling pretty tied up, pretty limited about this situation. And it's all about the law. For whatever reason, I don't really get him thinking about Susie as a person or what she did. It's just like, okay, how do I deal with this situation? He's thinking about his situation. How do I deal with the law? The same thing Susie was worried about. Can I throw money at the situation? Can I go underground? I feel really limited right now. So I'm just not getting very much emotion. So I'm going to say he doesn't have a broken heart. I'm not going to say he doesn't care, but to him, it's just another thing. If he can even really grasp what really happened, I'm feeling like maybe he can't grasp. Yeah, Susie knows where the bodies are buried, for sure. All right, so let's take a look at some of the starred ones. Well, let's actually look at that. The U.S. Mexican Canada trade agreement, right? Did I get that right? And what's the outcome? Let's take a look. I mean, for the most part, it seems okay. But I'm getting a lot of manipulation here in the ending. So here it is. This is my trade card, foreign connections and trade. So trying to work something out. Here is my workers card. So there is a lack of money coming in for, I believe, the United States, a lack of, and for some reason, someone is concerned about workers. So I'm going to assume it's the US, but they are concerned about, I think it's American workers or something to that effect. So maybe this has to do with having an agreement that American workers can live with. But the magician is here, and that's coming to the table and making something happen. But I'm also getting some strong arming and some manipulation here with this king. And that is the final card. So you know what? This is my card for embezzlement too, and theft by a man. So this is like getting something done, but wanting to get the upper hand, wanting to steal what isn't ours, trying to manipulate to get more than our fair share. So I honestly don't know what's going on with this agreement. I don't know what they're negotiating. I really don't. But this makes me feel, if I'm applying it to that kind of a situation, that it's going to turn out okay. That's what I'm feeling with the magician, but there's still a lot of manipulation in the process. They're going to have to watch it because that can really bounce back on them in a negative way. So hopefully they can get something etched out. But I feel like in my gut, it's going to be okay overall, that the outcome will be fine. All right. How about go back to some of the banners? This was an interesting question. So just to kind of change things a little bit, 3-Eye Atlas is coming close to Earth on the 19th of December, which I believe is tomorrow. And the astrology for that day is significant. Will the EF be released on that day? All right. So I'm assuming, because I had to look this up, the EF could be related to like the waves, those energy waves, but it can also actually be from a comet itself, or like pieces of it or debris from it, that type of thing. So I'm not quite sure what your intention was in asking that, but that's kind of the way I'm envisioning it. So will EF be released on that day? Oh, or Epstein files. I just thought of that too. EF, Epstein's, because we know that they're going to be released. Yeah. I just looked at the chat at the same time I went like, oh, Epstein files. But I think that's a given because I do know that they're going to release something. That was the next thing I want to actually look at. But let me just look at Earth. For some reason, I felt like Earth changes need to be looked at. Things from the Earth, energy. Okay. All right. It's interesting that it starts with the moon. So this is all about the Epstein files is what I'm getting. That's what they want everyone to know. There are secrets here. There are secrets. The 3 of Swords is here. It's going to be very painful and heartbreaking for a lot of people to see what needs to be seen. There's some people who are looking at the possibilities of the future, which is very interesting. So it's not all sad for all people. For other people, it's like, finally, we can see the possibilities of something good finally happening through something bad, through something negative. And then the White House is upside down. So I was really feeling, it's interesting because I'm feeling all this energy thing. That's why I can't let go of that. So I don't know if there's something that is going to affect us energetically on that day, but the guides want us, they're going with the Epstein files. There's definitely being released. Something's being released. I don't know how much. I'm sure everything's redacted, but it's enough that it's heartbreaking to a lot of people and really exciting for someone else. Someone was just saying Durbin thinks they won't be released. let me just ask directly, because I'm kind of feeling like the White House is upside down. So that's like not good. So let's take a look. Let's take a look if the Epstein files are actually going to be released. I think someone just asked that too. Let me take a look. I thought so. Did I just see that one? All right. Will the Epstein files be released totally? Let's ask. Well, this is interesting. Something is out of balance underneath it. The temperance is reversed, but justice comes right after it. Okay, we got justice, and then we have death. So there's a transformation and an ending here, and information is going really fast. This is my internet card too. So there's something that's going viral. There's something that is like going nuts. And I will say this makes me feel like, will they be released totally? No, because something is out of balance. That's going to be redacted stuff. That's the only thing I can think of. But there is enough to begin the process of justice. And all I can think of is, you got the Grim Reaper on this card, just as a metaphor, not a physical death, but just like he's coming, right? You reap what you sow. That's kind of what I'm getting. And there is some information that's just going to be kind of nuts. So maybe these are new pictures or new bits of information. It might not be the total package, but there's something getting released that begins a process of justice. And I feel like those other cards from that other question, that, the White House upside down and the secrets and heartache. So there's enough, let's put it this way, there's enough coming out that we're going to begin the process of truth. And there are going to be a lot of people who are not happy, All right, so let me take a look at the chat and I'll see what I'm missing here. See if I can star a few more questions. All right, so we'll see, we got one there. And let's take a look. Let's just kind of look into this a little bit more because this question is a lot more specific. So will they release the Epstein files by tomorrow, or is it going to come from somewhere else? Because the cards are indicating something is going, in a sense, viral. There's something coming out, even though something's out of balance. Let me ask directly, will the Epstein files by tomorrow, or is it going to come from somewhere else? Let's take a look. Will they release them by noon tomorrow? Why am I getting a woman here? Getting a woman. Let me just do a clarifier. Are they going to be released by noon tomorrow? I get the protest card, my hangman reverse, and here's the government and doing what's morally right. And then I have the reverse of the thief, right? So instead of being passive or hiding information, it's going direct. And then it ends with a woman, the Queen of Rods. Maybe she symbolizes that power of women being able, the feminine, to stand up and to be strong, because she's one of my strongest queens. And I asked for a clarifier, and I have the Two of Swords reversed. What I'm feeling here is because that's a real split. I think that people are really split as far as releasing. I felt like the whole thing wasn't going to be released, but these cards are making me feel like something is being released, like by noon. They're throwing a bone. I'm not really sure. I am sure. I'm sure it's not everything. That's what I had gotten in the other cards, but these cards indicate that there's something here. I'm not getting cards that indicate foreign. So maybe there's other information that comes from somewhere else, but something is going to be released tomorrow. Even if it's something small, I feel like there's something coming out. That's the way these cards are reading. So I guess we'll see. All right, so I got that one. I think some people are asking some of the same questions. Wait a minute. Don Jr.'s got a new girlfriend? What? All right, let me go back to the previous questions. Let's try this for my Aussie friends. Will Australia be as bad as the US? All right, so will it get as bad? And I'm sure this question is coming from maybe some of the things that have happened recently with the shootings. I hope I got that right. This is me with the news. Like, I get bits and pieces and then I forget what's going on, but is it going to get as bad as the US? Australia. Now, this is interesting because I want to say it's not as bad as the US, but I am getting Australia is going to go through its own reckoning, I guess is another way to say it. This is the card that makes me feel like it's not as bad as the US or what we're going through overall or what we will be going through. The Sun card is reversed, which is still a really good card for me. It's just that, I mean, it's funny because it's like seeing one's shadow when we have it in reversal, but it's happiness to a lesser extent. So I still feel like it will be slightly better. The Aussies they're practical. They don't have their heads in the clouds. And that's why they have to look at their shadow, but they're able to see it. Okay. They're able to figure it out and say, okay, this is what's wrong. This is what we have to fix. There's something more practical and pragmatic about the energy, facing what needs to be changed. But Australia is going to have a tower moment. Okay. This is, it's not always pleasant. And it ends with the 10 of Swords, sort of surrender. So there's a collapse and a surrender. This is tough energy for Australia. I mean, they're already going through some things. And I know some people I know from Australia are, they say they have their own, I guess, right, conservative kind of energy that they're fighting. It's just, I would say it's not as bad as the US, but it's bad enough for them. It's an awakening for them. So hang in there, Australia. Hang in there. I guess we're all going through those changes, and it's just a tough time. And I guess it makes sense. We're a global community. So if one country is going through such a huge transformation, it's going to affect other nations. It is. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's try this one. Will we have a happy celebration of our 250th country's anniversary in 2026? I have actually been thinking about this a lot. So, 4th of July, like I'm old enough to remember the bicentennial. Remember that? For those of you of a certain age. I was 10 in 1976. That was a big deal. We had like a big cookout. And my mother made a cake with a little flag on it, and as a picture of me and my siblings. We were all little kids. I was the oldest, so I think my youngest brother, he was only 3 in that picture. But there were big parades in my town, and I just remember such a sense of pride. So I always thought the 250th in my mind would be a wonderful, great thing to experience. I just hope it is, because who would have known all of these things would have happened to us? All right. So let's see. Will we have a happy celebration of our 250th? Well, it's not the greatest news. It's not the greatest news. Let me do a clarifier. Okay, interesting. I mean, it starts with the emperor. So one way or another, whether he's here or not, we're dealing with this idea of control, the patriarchy. The people are in control. It just feels like we've been dealing with, the king and that energy, which is interesting that, on that day we're celebrating our independence, but in a sense, we're still dealing with this sense of control. This is my Cinderella card. So usually this means the energy is what's the word I'm looking for? Not transferred. I'm like losing my words, but changed in a way. And these two cards together, it could mean that we're in the midst of huge changes away from this power and control, but we're in this limbo state in July. I do get blocks here to the celebration. It's not like there are going to be some things that may have been planned that are blocked, is what I'm feeling. It's not going to be, I think it's going to be very controlled. The types of activities, celebration, events, some things are really blocked, I think, from our own safety. So it's not going to be what people envisioned. People are going to be still very divided in this country with the 2 of Swords reversed. And I asked for a clarifier, and I got the Hermit, a time of reflection. There are going to be a lot of people on that day sitting in the aftermath of something is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like what they're showing me? They're showing me, and this is only because I was a teacher and I remember this picture. I think we did the book Hiroshima. And there was that picture after the bomb had hit. And, it's a famous picture. You probably would know the picture. And it just showed the total devastation. I do not want you to interpret what I just said to you as, the United States is going to have some sort of total transformation, transitioning, transmuting. Thank you. Those are all good words that I was trying to get out. But what I think it is a metaphor from my guides that we're in the aftermath of a crumbling. I think that's what they're trying to show me, because they always show me things in metaphors. Okay. So we're going to be reflecting on that. Who are we? Where are we going on the 250th? And there might be some celebration activities that are blocked because of whatever's going on during that time period. So I wish it was happier. I really do, because this is a big deal. But at the very least, we're really reflecting on who we want to be as a nation. All right, let's take a look. And let's try this one. Will Mike Johnson be voted out of office because he won't bring ACA up for a vote? Will a new speaker be appointed? Maybe Hakeem Jeffries. So there's two things here that I'm kind of hearing, or I should ask about. Will Mike Johnson be voted out, and will Hakeem Jeffries be his replacement? So let me take a look at both of those at the same time. Voted out. All right, this is interesting. We're going to start with, I asked, will Mike Johnson be voted out? Look at all this female energy I'm getting. The Empress, the High Priestess, women energy. And also the High Priestess can be secrets. So it's kind of like, I'm not going to hold your secrets anymore. Women are revolting here. So I'm thinking, really watch the women in the Republican Party. Maybe this is the MTG thing, trying to get him out before she leaves. I do get a recovery here, though, for MJ. So he's almost out in the cold. At the last minute, he's in. But look at this. The Four of Swords is the coffin card and kind of feeling isolated. But there's a recovery. It seems contradictory is what it feels like. I don't know if he's going to be voted out yet. Maybe this is coming later, but there's definitely some energy behind it. I'm just a little confused because those cards seem very contradictory, but regardless, he's on his way out. You know, the swords are above him. He's under the sword, so to speak. He has to do what he has to do. This is just a matter of time. He will eventually be voted out. I just don't know. I think he might survive this first round is what I'm feeling, which I guess now that I've talked this out, it makes more sense because I also asked, would Hakeem Jeffries be speaker, appointed speaker? Again, I get the Queen of Pentacles here. So again, with the female energy, but he's not expanding. He's not growing. And this is my card sometimes in reversal for ulterior motives. So there could be some ulterior motives here from someone around Hakeem, but they're looking for a new start, but they're working on it. So again, it's kind of like, all right, there's an agenda here, ulterior motives that we have to work through. Oh, God, I hope maybe this is that whole end of the party, the Democratic Party, who are trying to negotiate with the terrorists, so to speak, which is ridiculous. What are you doing? So I'm going to simply answer it as he is eventually leaving. I don't think it's going to be this first round, but the women are on him. I don't think Hakeem is going to be in yet. This is going to take just a little bit of time. Okay, a little bit of time. So let me look at the chat here in the last few minutes because I feel like I'm missing things. Once I start reading, I kind of lose time and space. So let's take a look down here, see what's come up. Oh, hi, Cat Mom. Welcome to our membership. I just actually posted a members only video on Pete Hegseth. So you might want to take a look at that if you're on the top 2 tiers of the membership. You'll have access to those videos. And we're also having our writing group. I'm excited for our monthly writing group meets, and it will be tomorrow night. That one's closed, but I'll be posting a new one for January tomorrow. So if you want to sign up for that one, please do, and welcome. I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting you. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, this is a really good comment. The rhyming of history. At the time of the Revolutionary War, it wasn't all roses and happiness. We were asking the same question. What kind of country do we want? Same now. And that's exactly the energy I was feeling for the anniversary. Unlike, say, the bicentennial, where, I mean, I know I was a kid, but I just felt like it was a much more innocent, I guess, atmosphere. It's going to be a heavier feeling in the country for the 250th. Very good comment. Thanks, Nat. The writing group rocks. I know. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. We do readings together with our soul writing and our cards. So awesome. So let's take a look at some of the starred questions. We'll try this one. Stephanie's question, do we really have to hang in there until the midterms? Will things get better before then? God, I'm going to try to look again. I hope so. Let's take a look. Will things get better for us before the midterms? And I'm going to ask, what exactly is going to happen to make us feel better? If that's the case. Something going to happen before the midterms. Oh, I keep getting this card. I get it upright. I get it reversed. I was reading with Irish Granny this week. I think that she's posted that on her channel or her Substack. And we kept getting this card as well. So foreign ties and so forth. Oh, my goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. Oh, all right. All right. Throw us a bone. Now, this is interesting. I have to ask for some clarifiers. I think I'm going to use the prediction deck. I am getting some crazy energy here before the midterms, but we are celebrating something. I wouldn't go as far as to say things are going to get all that better, but I think we're going to go into the horrifying period between now and the midterms, and yet we're celebrating a few of those things. So let me just get some clarifiers here. All right. Okay. I would say we do have to hang on to the midterms before we see bigger changes and things that make us feel better overall. This card says to me that, this is expanding and this is more looking at the underbelly. Okay. And kind of, I keep getting those foreign ties. So here's the devil right next to it before the midterm. So we're really looking at these ties. And I feel like something is going to be coming out concerning the ulterior motives of foreign nations. We'll just leave it at that. And the shenanigans that were involved with that. And guess what? We do celebrate that. There is a celebration. So it has something to do with those more negative forces and the connections with foreign nations. So there could be some information that comes out with that. But I do get the Nine of Swords, where, again, this is an ending. This is grief. This is mourning. What's real? There's some sort of the surveillance record. There's some information. Could these be information in the Epstein files? That's surveillance. Could it be something that Jack Smith has uncovered? Is that coming out? Some sort of surveillance, but there is some kind of news coming out we're both celebrating it and we're devastated by it. It's, again, this contradictory energy. Some of it's distraction and illusion. And the guides say, stay put. Just kind of don't go anywhere. Don't do much. Just kind of let this unravel. So are things going to get better? God, I know what you want. See, I know what Stephanie and a lot of you want. You want me to say everything is going to be great. Everything's going to be wonderful. And we'll all be celebrating and dancing in the street. And we'll all go back to normal. And it's not as black and white as that. I think there are some things coming out before the midterms that are pretty euphoric for us. Like, we're going to be really excited by it. But there's this it's like this gray area. At the same time, we're happy. There's things crumbling. There's things ending. And there's sadness attached to that. There's grief attached to that. We're in very interesting times. I hope I'm explaining that energy correctly. Because I wish it was black and white, but there are just all these different facets to what we're going to be going through. So yeah, we do in a way have to hang on to midterms to see some of the bigger changes. Yeah. So I think I just saw a new member come up. So we have Sally Joe. Welcome, Sally, to being one of the YouTube members. I appreciate you joining, and I do hope to get to meet you, especially if you want to join our class. All right. Now let's take a look at, well, we need a good final question. Nina, and I thought I saw one that I kind of liked. So let me just take a look again. Well, we could do this one. And then I thought, let's do this one. And then I think I have, I wanted to ask about just the holiday period. I think that I can't remember where it is now. I thought I saw it, but so I'm going to start with Lisa's. My gut keeps saying Christmas in July. What do you think of this timeline for Trump leaving this earth? Well, that's interesting that you said that, because I just looked at that 250th, celebration, and we're looking at July, right? I mean, 4th of July. And I'm seeing like the aftermath of something, being happy and reflective at the same time. So let's take a look. What is the timeline for Trump leaving? What is the timeline for Trump leaving? Ten weeks. What does 10 weeks bring us to? Someone do math. That's 2.5 months. I'm getting the end of the winter, beginning of the spring. It's kind of what I'm getting in here. I'll tell you the story in a minute. I'm just going to put out some timing cards. Oh, interesting. Okay. This is what I'm getting. I'm getting more October. That's the 10 for him actually leaving the earth. But there's something that's going down at the end of February, early March, where he could be either removed. Like, I don't think he's going to leave the presidency by leaving the earth. It's kind of like I'm being taken out of the presidency in some way, and then I'm leaving the earth. But it's going to happen like boom, boom. So I am getting a release of burdens. Here's that 10 again, the 10 of wands. They're trying to make something happen to release the burdens. So we're being burdened in some way. There's a lot that's going to go down to burden the United States. And then I get the 10 of swords. Not again with the 10, right? So, and this is like, okay, I'm out. And then I'm getting a real law. This could be the law. It can also be the military with the 10 of swords. Again, I'm sorry, the king of swords, but that is an October astrological card. The king of swords is October. That's the 10th month. And then when I actually got the timing cards, the first card I pulled was October. There it is, the 10th month. And the other two cards, I always choose 3 timing cards to get a range of time. And I got by the end of the week, and it's the right time to take action. So maybe it's the right time to take action at the end of the week. Whoops, as I throw the cards. So maybe this has something to do with as we're moving toward the Christmas holidays, maybe this is, I mean, there's so much going down with voting and making decisions and what's going on in Venezuela. So there could be we've got the EF files coming out, or at least pieces of them. There's information beginning to come out. So I think the end of the week, things are going to start happening. They're going to start rocking and rolling toward, I keep feeling like it's the end of the winter. There's a possibility he might be taken out of the presidency, but I'm just not sure in what way yet. I can't let go of health issues. It could be a health issue, but he's still on this earth, if that makes sense. I'm getting like a 10th month, more like the October. So Christmas in July, maybe that's the aftermath. Maybe he's already been removed. And that's what you're feeling, because I got that feeling when we looked at July. So let's just end. Let's just end with like a holiday reading, because we just need some good news. So let's take a look at what's going to be going on during the holiday period. For those of us who celebrate, there's so many different holidays. We have Hanukkah that I'm assuming is underway. You got Christmas, you got Kwanzaa. What else am I missing? There's so many different celebrations. Celebrate the solstice, which is always a special time. The winter solstice is always a special time for me. It's very reflective. All right, let's take a look how the U.S. is going to experience the Christmas holidays. We are getting ready for a new start, for sure. But it is a difficult period for some people. It's difficult. The holidays are not easy for people. Okay. It starts with the Tower card reverse. The good news is this is a little shakeup. And I'm feeling financial. Honestly, I'm feeling, because I've got the world upside down. I mean, this could be, the world is kind of upside down, but you got, in a way, a Christmas wreath here. So I feel like there are little shakeups for Christmas for some people. It feels financial to me. So there are some people who are really, really struggling. My king is reversed. There's going to be a lot of manipulation. I'm just getting a lot of like stuff. I'm manipulating our emotions, making us, it's gaslighting. I think that's what I'm feeling, is the gaslighting. But it ends with looking at the future and putting the past behind us. And I think there are going to be a lot of people who are reflecting on that during the holiday period. Like, I'm not going to listen to this anymore, this manipulation. I'm wondering if it's just the manipulation to buy or consume, is I'm not listening to that anymore. I'm not going to be manipulated. I'm just going to focus on the future. And I do get this adventure card, and we're on a journey. And, work and work connections, we're going to be really focused on what we want to do for work. It kind of makes me feel, I kept feeling this financial thing. So I'm wondering if this is for the people who have lost their jobs or positions. What does this really mean? I want meaningful work. It's, again, a reflective period, this holiday period. What am I working for is what I'm getting. And then forgiveness and letting go of grievances. Again, focusing on the future and putting the past behind us. 4 of Cups reversed. So it's good. Again, it's not an easy period for people. And if you're one of those people who, you're feeling like you're struggling a little, hang in there. And, we're with you. Show up to these chats. There's so many people in our community. I think there are some people going live. Stay connected. and stay happy. And just if you're angry and it's crazy with the politics out there, just try to let it go. Just be centered, because the holiday period, regardless of what you believe or what you celebrate, it does seem like a time of reflection. I know it is for me. It's that solstice period where the light is at its lowest, but after that, the sun comes out again, that you gain light after the 21st. So I always think of that as a really special time. So focus that we're going to get more and more light, and as things become more clear. And speaking of the holidays, I do want to say that I am going to not be doing this show for the next 2 weeks because of the holiday period. I always take a couple weeks off during the holidays, but I will be back in the new year, the first Thursday night of the new year, and we will do the Midnight Brew. So it will be posted right before. I'll ask for questions so you'll know. And I really hope that regardless of what everyone celebrates, that you all have a wonderful couple weeks and try to be happy. Hang in there and be happy. And thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to subscribe, join our membership. I appreciate all of you. So we're going to, with that said, that's the tea, everybody. And I will see you in the new year. So let's play some music. It's a little jazzy Jingle Bells to kind of end the show.
Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Happy holidays, everybody. I'll see you in the new year. Bye now.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in the one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Over the fields we go.